Creating powerful listings for your items doesn't have to be hard. A few simple tips and tricks can make all the difference. In today's video, you're going to learn 3 things you can apply to your listings today to help them sell faster and for more money. Hey everybody, my name is Bethany and I, along with my husband Sean, run Trash Pandas Thrift. We are a 6-figure reselling business, and here on this YouTube channel, we share with you all of our tips, tricks, and experiences, all so that you can start and grow your very own reselling business too. Today is going to be a good one. I'm going to share with you 3 simple tricks that you can do today. Start doing today so that your items can sell fast and often for more money. The first one, let's dive right in, is optimizing your title. This is a big one, and it's honestly a video we can make on just title and SEO maximization in the future. But if you've seen our other videos here on this channel, that's exactly what we've been talking about in other words, especially in terms of style, aesthetics, and strong keywords. More on that in a bit. Let's talk about the title itself and best practices, best listing practices when it comes to your title on different marketplaces, eBay, Poshmark, Depop, Mercari, and the rest. I like to put myself in the buyer's shoes when I'm crafting a title, and that is the best way that I can sum up the best practice of doing it. It is one of the most important features of your listing, and truly you want to have everything in there that a buyer needs when they see your title, not only to A, click on your listing, because if they don't like your title, they're not going to click on it in the first place, and B, feel confident in purchasing. That means you need important info in your title to win them over and also to gain trust. So usually that is brand, the type of item it is, gender, size, and descriptive/style aesthetic keywords. So there are a few different exceptions to this. Sometimes you might have a great item with no brand. Instead of a brand, sometimes I like to use another descriptor for that item instead of brand, such as vintage. Sometimes I use vintage in place of the brand itself. It acts as a great filler as well. One thing I have to say is make sure you don't leave out the size. I commonly see this one, and I think, honestly, I've done it quite a few times myself, that you see it, and it's almost as if the things that are right there are often the things that you forget. That is often what happens to me, and also in our mentorship group, I see it pretty often, that there's this amazing title, and all of a sudden we're reworking it, and I'm like, where is the size? We don't have the size in the title. So that's definitely one that I think I always have to check on myself and check on others to make sure that we're doing. One other thing, speaking of precious character space, character count matters. You want to max out as many characters as you have on any platform. For example, eBay with it 80 characters, you want to use 80. Your goal should always be to max out all 80 characters. If I get to 79, I'm like, okay, that's good enough, but I want 80. And every single character is precious. That's why you don't need some more unimportant things, such as grammar, apostrophes. So titles can often sound like run-on sentences in the best way. That's not necessarily a bad thing. And I think we often have this kind of inclination to make a title more grammatically correct. It's not about being grammatically correct. It's about coming in a cohesive, logical order that makes sense to a buyer and includes a lot of the most important details of that item closer to the front of your listing than the end. This means you don't need things like apostrophes. For example, if you're spelling out women small, I would not put WOMEN apostrophe S. I would take out that apostrophe. And also, as we're going to talk about later, if I had a listing title that it was jam-packed of really strong style aesthetic keywords, I would rather forego a word like woman's than a word that was really important to have in my title, like cottagecore. Space is everything, and making sure you have really important words in there is everything. Those important words we're going to talk about later too. You want to prioritize keywords in your title that are also, for example, not in drop downs for a platform like eBay. That means I'm also not going to include the color all of the time. If you notice, I didn't include color as something that's vital. That's because it's not. The same thing goes for sleeve length. Things like that, I'm always going to think are not as important as other features such as brand, such as gender, such as size, and other really strong and style aesthetic keywords. So this is such a big topic. Again, we could have an entire video just on this. The order of the info in your title matters too. More so, I think what matters is what you have in there. The most important thing about your title is that you want it to be jam-packed. You want it to be as close to the max amount of characters as possible, and you need that important info. You need your brand, you need your size, you most likely need your gender, and you need the item itself. After that, you need strong, super strong keywords. In terms of structure, I'm going to give you the structure that I have used for years. The structure I have always used is this: brand, item, gender, size, keywords. So, for example, free people, top, woman's, small, boho, cottagecore, keyword, 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 and keyword. Lots of them, all the way up to 80 characters. There is also some information online more about title structure itself. eBay specifically has put out some effective title structures in their, they have different basically like community guidelines that they put out, such as listing best practices is one that they currently have that we're going to link a little screenshot of. And a recent guide they put out suggested that multiple structures could be effective. They've had different structures that they've recommended over the years, and they have been modified and they have been changed. We're going to put the two that they have there as effective title structures. I think truly it undercases the most important thing that I try to explain, which is what matters the most is the meat of your title. I think we often sit there and we think about, do I need to put this word before this word? Do I need to put boho before cottagecore? Should I do cottagecore before boho? Do I need small before women's and women's before small? At the end of the day, do you have the most important words in there and a title structure that works for you and your business, like the one that works for ours and that we used for years? That is it. If it is an effective title and you max it out with keywords, which we're going to talk about next, that can sometimes be even more important than the title structure itself. And that is why number 2 is that you need to use style, aesthetic, and strong keywords. Keywords are everything. They are absolutely everything. That is why we focus so much about them in our YouTube videos here. They have made all of the difference in our business, and it truly is vital no matter the platform you're listing on. Depop, Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, it does not matter. It is a universal importance. So what do I mean by keywords? You heard me say style, aesthetic keywords. And if you haven't seen any of our earlier videos about keywords, or you're just a little bit confused, let me break it down for you. So there are different types of keywords. A keyword can refer to an item like what I talked about before, like sleeve length. That's a keyword. Colors, a keyword. They're all descriptive adjectives of an item. Style aesthetic keywords are a very specific type of keywords that we focus a lot on here at Trash Pandas Thrift. They refer to specific style aesthetics and trending style cores. You might also have heard them spoken like. Some examples would be even things that we've done videos on in the past. Different style aesthetic videos are those exact keywords that you need to be putting in your listings. We've done videos on cottagecore, we've done gorpcore, we've done fairy grunge, we've done quite a bit. We've even done tennis core, we've done western. We also have one entire video on our channel dedicated to how to use keywords to sell thrifted clothes online. One of the very first videos that we put out. That is a great first step in learning more about style aesthetic keywords. The most important thing I can say about them is prioritize them in your title. We are often asked in our comments, where do I put these keywords? I feel like I don't have enough room in my title after I have everything in there. Prioritize them. That's why I said color doesn't matter. Sleeve type doesn't matter. I would rather have something like fairy in a title than A-line or sheath in a title. The actual descriptive utility of a dress does not matter as much to me as the style aesthetics that I could be using to advertise that dress and truly put it amongst so many different eyes. So using strong keywords and style aesthetics matters in multiple ways. You can market your item to as many different people as possible. And I mean that because one keyword is not enough. If you heard me in my free people example, the first two keywords I used were boho and cottagecore, two separate style aesthetics. Your item doesn't just have to fall into one style aesthetic keyword. It can fall into many, and oftentimes the more it can fall into, the better it is that you have your pulse on something that is truly in demand. Because the more eyes on your listings, the more keywords you use, the better. The more style aesthetic keywords that your item fits, use them and put them in your title. Whatever you cannot fit, go ahead and drop that down into your description. My favorite way to use these keywords. This is my exact process whenever we're sitting down to brainstorm a listing title. I like to refer to it as keyword vomit. Word for word, what I do is I vomit up all of the keywords that I can possibly think of when I'm looking at an item. So let's think back to that free people top, right? Off the top of my head, I said it was boho, I said it was cottagecore. That's not enough. The first thing I do when I'm trying to craft a title is I don't sit down and start making the title. That is the second thing I do. The first thing I do is keyword vomit. I am brainstorming every possible keyword I can think of when I'm looking at this item. So I would use boho, cottagecore, peasant. If it was embroidered, I put embroidered. Everything I can possibly think of. Every style aesthetic, every strong keyword. I am writing it as a list. And then I'm going to sit down, I'm going to craft my title, and all of those strong keywords and style aesthetics that I just vomited up, I am placing them in my title and I am prioritizing them. And like I said before, if I cannot fit both boho and cottagecore in that listing, something's going to go. Something has got to go, and I am ruthless. It is cutthroat. It is a cutthroat competition to see who gets that character space because it is that valuable. Those style aesthetic keywords will make the difference to you. I truly, I can't even emphasize this enough, and it's so heartwarming to see because on social media and on YouTube and on Instagram, I'll talk to people and they'll tell me that after they watched our videos on a style aesthetic, they would go back and they'll tell me that they reworked their listing, and all they did was they put in that keyword. They put in a style aesthetic I talked about, like cottagecore. This happened a lot when we put out that video, and they told me they were shocked because a week later or a few days later, it sold. And they couldn't sell it for months. Truly, the power of this, you will feel it when you start listing using strong keywords. It is truly, it's something you just have to see with your own eyes for yourself. The power is amazing, and I'm having such a blast, and it's warming my heart truly to hear all of you once you start using them and you're learning them and you see how it works. And then when you let me know, I'm like, yay, I'm so glad. They open the door. They truly do open a door to a whole other way of sourcing that can be quite lucrative. You don't have to just be a reseller that resells great brands. And here at Trash Pandas Thrift, yeah, we love to resell great brands, but we love to resell great styles too. And no matter what we're reselling, great style-based and strong keywords can sell anything, absolutely anything for more money, even if it was a great brand to begin with. Even if it could sell on its own, why not use those style-based keywords, those strong keywords, and uplift the value of your item further? That means, number one, they allow you to sell items for more than other resellers would be able to. They allow you to source items you wouldn't have sourced otherwise, because in our bolo videos, you noticed bolo doesn't mean great brands. There are style aesthetic bolos as well that I've trained my eye to be able to look for, and now I'm sharing with you as well. It is a whole different world, and it is such a fun one. It truly is. It has taken my love of reselling and multiplied it tenfold, and I do think that that will happen for you as well. And if not, it will multiply your sales tenfold as well, which is super important as well. Getting your items to sell and actually making money. It will do that. It truly will. I'm not going to drone on about keywords anymore because I'll probably sit here and make this entire video about keywords. But in general, they draw more attention to your listings, and more eyes equals more sales. It works. Try it out. If you look at your listings and you don't see any style aesthetic keywords in there that we talk about on this channel, you need to go back and you need to insert them. You need to rework your listings. And number 3, the third trick I'm going to share with you today is to be thorough in your listings. Now, I know this is kind of like, okay, that's one of the best practices of being a reseller. That's something that we should all be doing, right? It does truly make your listings stand out. There are a sea of listings that are just thrown together. All you need to do is do a basic search on Poshmark, on eBay, on Depop for items that you're personally searching for. Go ahead and start searching for items. Maybe, for example, I'm looking for some new Hoka shoes, right? I'm on my feet all day. I want to get some new shoes. I'm looking for Hokas. All the listings I'm finding they have 2 pictures. They're dimly lit. The titles are definitely not maxed out to 80 characters, and a lot of people are not following the same best practices that I know a lot of us are. So it truly does set your listings apart when you're going to do all of these things that I'm going to share with you. The first thing that you can do to make sure that you're being thorough and you're just really gaining that buyer trust, that buyer confidence, is make sure to photograph flaws in photos and also point them out in the condition description on eBay, for example, and the description on eBay again and on all platforms. So this is duo, this is twofold. You want to make sure that not only you disclose them in writing, you also want to make sure to photograph them. Also, make sure to photograph any interesting details of your item, and just because a cover photo is usually a front-facing photo doesn't mean it has to be. It truly doesn't. If you have a jacket, for example, on the back of it is gorgeous, it's fully floral embroidered, and the front is not, I'm not going to choose the front of that jacket for my cover photo. I'm choosing the back. If you have a pair of jeans, for example, Rock Revival or Miss Me, I'm not going to use a cover photo of the front facing of the jeans. I'm showing the back. I'm showing the bedazzled back. Whatever is most interesting about a very unique item, that's what should be the first thing that your buyer sees. And it's a great way to train yourself to think, how best should I market this? Getting yourself out of that grind of listing after another, and truly treating each listing with a little bit of care. And that really went a long way for us. And I think that it's a good one to point out. The next one is to make sure to include either a picture of measurements of an item or to include measurements in the description. This is huge for 2 reasons. One, it truly does gain buyer confidence and buyer trust. And number 2, it also decentivizes returns. Now, there are different opinions on this, whether or not you accept or you do not accept returns on any platform. Knowing that an item might fit them based on their own measurements is a really great way to lower buyer return rate, because number 1, it allows them to check within their own items at home if it's going to fit them, and it's a better way to ensure that you might not have as many returns for fit, which is often one of the most annoying returns. If you do accept returns, measurements should definitely decrease that. It will not get rid of it completely, but it is a really great detail that some sellers miss that I really do think is a really big positive impact on your listings. The last thing I'm going to mention is specifically for eBay, you want to fill out as many item specifics as possible. That is huge in being thorough in your listings on eBay. Those are important. They truly are. You want to spend the extra minute, and you do want to fill in all of the ones that are applicable. I'm not talking about the silly ones. I know there's quite a few silly ones out there that we like to make fun of, such as character. I'm not talking about those. I truly mean the drop downs that truly fit your item. Spend the extra minute and fill them in. It will make a difference in your ranking and search for eBay, and more eyes equals more sales. Anything that you can do for more eyes, you should do it, because more eyes will always equal more sales. And that was it for number 3. So to recap, the 3 tricks, the 3 tricks that I shared with you today was number 1, make sure that you optimize your title. You need important information in there, and every single character counts. We are not going to be putting out listings that just says free people top. Absolutely not. We are optimizing those listing titles. Every single character, they need to fight the other characters to win. It is a battlefield. Number 2, use style, aesthetic, and strong keywords. These are your battlers. These are your battlers. These are your warriors. They are going into the field, and they are going into your title. These are important, and you need to prioritize them in your title. Do what I said. Try it out for yourself. Experiment, sit down, and try to do a keyword vomit section for yourself, it will help you a ton. Truly, just get those juices flowing and think of anything that comes to mind when you're looking at the item, write it down. It will help get those juices flowing. And number 3, make sure that you're being thorough in your listings. If you have a unique item, take that extra second. Do things such as best practices of being a reseller, photographing flaws, making sure that you obnoxiously point them out, as well as including measurements in photos and in your description, and filling out all item specifics on eBay. That was all I had for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed. These 3 tips are truly the foundations of creating listings that actually sell. They really are. I do think that they will help you sell your items faster and for more money. Thanks so much, you guys. If you like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe down below and check out the other videos that I mentioned in this one. They are truly the crux of our business. Thanks so much, you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.